So it's the next day out here again. So we're gonna get ready to reseal up this transmission. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna struggle to get this transmission up on the bench and then drain whatever fluid is in it still, and then start taking it apart and change whatever seals came in the kit. All right. Oh crap. I meant to move this stuff before. Get the bench kind of cleaned off a little so we can lift this up, hopefully without killing myself. Would be nice. I mean, these transmissions aren't that heavy, but actually the big problem is there is still oil in it, and when I lift it, I don't want the trying to keep the oil from coming out, because this is where my transmission temp gauge is. Oh, of course now nothing's going to leak out of there. Oh no, here it comes. There we go. Alright, well, we're going to let this leak for a bit, and then I'll come back. I let the fluid drain. I kind of gave at least this side a little bit of a cleaning with some brake clean. So what we're going to take off first is we'll take this cover off, which there's only one bolt because the other two bolts hold the cover holds it on, and there is a gasket and an O-ring, it looks like. Okay, so we're going to change out this gasket, which, I mean, honestly, it probably is fine. Well, not now because I just ripped it. But I guess, I mean, I know it has one, but I guess I should have made sure that it was exactly the same before I start tearing at it. Yep, it is the same. So, yeah, we're going to change this gasket. I just want to, I mean, I think that the leaking was probably coming out of that vent, but this gasket set was like 20 bucks, and it comes with all the like rings that go inside the transmission. Plus it came with a new pump gasket, which I'm not changing because I just changed it last year when I had the pump out, when I put the gear set in, so I'm not going to do that. But now I got a spare one, so a rag. Let's clean this up. I should buy, they make a billet servo cover. I don't know, you know, if it makes it better, exactly what it does, but I guess I could look into getting one of those. And there is an O-ring on here too, so I'm pretty sure the kit comes with a new one. So we're gonna get all the old gasket goop off of here. Ugh, I hate when there's just a little bit material and you want to get it all off and it won't come off. I found the O-ring. Just carefully remove this one. Not that we're reusing it, but we don't need to tear it off of there. Wipe that out. Put the new one on. Perfect. I'm going to get a tiny bit of good tip for when you're building transmissions. Never put grease to lubricate anything, but you can use, they make a specific stuff for transmissions, but it's pretty much, as far as I know, just red petroleum jelly. So you just use that. Okay. Maybe I should have put the gasket first. Nope. This transmission hasn't been, you know, taken all apart, totally rebuilt in terms of all the seals and stuff in quite a long time, so it's not a bad thing to be doing it. Like I said, the cover is these other two bolts for the transmission shield. So we'll just tighten the one up. Here, let's put, we can put one of these in here just temporarily. There, just to keep it, make sure it's seated well. Okay, that's good and tight. Now we can put in the, as if I just lost it again. I just spent the last, oh, it's in my pocket. See, I put it in my pocket so I wouldn't lose it, and then I forgot that it was in my pocket. Okay, so we're going to put this fitting in, and like I said, it's already threaded, so. Mind you, I mean, I bought this transmission from a place in the States, so it is possible at one point it did have a filter or a blowdown tank thing. And then we're just going to take, I mean, we're not going to do it now, but I'll show you. I happen to have some here. I don't know if I have any, I mean, it doesn't matter, but I don't know if I have any black. But we're going to put in, oh, I got to cut this. This is the kind of tubing that we're going to use. It's just like airline type tubing. I should have some black stuff somewhere. Anyways, we're going to put this in there, and then this is going to sit like this, and it's just going to go down probably right through there to the overflow tank. So that's perfect. And then no more leaking, we hope. Okay, so the next thing I think we'll do is we'll do the rear cover here, the whatever tail shaft. Oh, I got it tightened. Now, either I tightened it too much or the gun just won't crack it loose. So there's the tail shaft. Now I guess I can't, do I have to take this, let's see, I mean, it doesn't, mind you, it doesn't look to be leaking back here, but I mean, is it? Considering that that's the only seal. It doesn't look like it goes on very far. Like this is a press fit, but okay, well I think I can take this off. And there actually is a gasket behind there too, which comes in the kit, so maybe I can also change that. I also have to do something about the speedometer here, because it could be leaking oil. I mean, I got a new O-ring. I don't know about this part where the speedometer goes, because I don't even have a speedometer. So, yeah. And there we got the gear set. We're also going to change the seal behind the Transbrake. So there is an O-ring, and then there is a gasket here. Once again, let's make sure that we have the right parts here. Okay, so there's a new O-ring. Yes. So there's our new O-ring. And then here's our new rear gasket, which is the same. Okay, perfect. So then we're going to change those two. I mean, this gasket definitely feels dry. Now we're going to put the new gasket on. Huh. For some reason, it almost seems like it doesn't fit. Yeah, that one fits right inside the hole, all the way in. And then this one, I mean, it's the right gasket. It almost feels like it's slightly too big. It is like, you can't really see it, but it is ever slightly tiny bit bigger, which doesn't make any sense. And this is like an ATI gasket set, but I don't know, maybe you just have to trim it a little bit. And if I line it up perfectly, and it's not even the whole gasket. Okay, I took off very little there. Now it went right in. So, okay, so the next thing we got to put back on is this. Now originally, Powerglides had, some Powerglides, or maybe all, I think the earlier ones, they had like a little pump on the back. And then that's how you could push start a Powerglide back in the day. I got this out. Now, I could probably plug this with like a small frost plug if I could get one in that size. Or I could tap it, put a pipe plug in there, I suppose. I really should just get the gear. I don't even know if I can run a gear. I don't think I can on this straight cut gear set. I mean, for speedometer, I just use GPS type, like on my phone, and that works. It's just as accurate as, if not more than what the speedometer says. So what I'm going to do, I'll get some silicone and I'll put some silicone on here that'll help seal it up, and a new O-ring. Then what I think I'll do is I'll fill this hole with silicone too, and then I got this black cap I'll just put over top. And then hopefully nothing should leak out of there. I can't say that I've noticed anything leaking out of that when I look under the car, but it is possible that it is leaking. Okay, so we're going to turn this. There's a notch here for this to get, of course, I put it in the wrong way. And now for me to turn it, and it's slippery. There's a little notch here for putting this in. Just stick this on here. I could put a hose clamp maybe on there too, I guess, but that's just kind of extra. With the silicone in that, it shouldn't leak, you would think. Okay, so then, and I don't have it didn't come with a new seal, but I have changed that not that long ago, so hopefully it's fine. If I notice that it looks like it's leaking from there, I will, I can always change that later. That can be changed in the car. And now where did my 9/16 socket go? Oh, here it is. super exciting, I know. Alright, so then the next thing we're going to deal with will be the Transbrake solenoid. Same thing, unscrew it. I think there should be an O-ring in there, or a gasket or something, which is one of these. So I got to find a wrench or vice grips or something to take that off. 16 AN. I'm not 100% sure what kind of Transbrake. I mean, this solenoid's it's a Rosler, so I would assume that well, it doesn't actually look like it has a gasket. There's just thread sealant on here. Okay, so I guess I'll just, oh no, there's a small O-ring at the bottom. Oh, that actually fits good. Okay, we'll use that one. But we'll also use some, maybe we'll put some pipe thread sealant on there too. Can't hurt. I did notice some like drips from this area, but I wasn't sure if it was this part here that I'm doing, or if it was like the solenoid itself leaks a little bit. This side of the transmission actually looked pretty dry compared to the other side, but the other side is also where that vent is, right? So, okay, so that's that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is I'd like to change the seal that the shifter goes into, which is this little seal right here goes in there. And I'd like to change that because I know on all kinds of transmissions that's usually a spot where they like to leak. So now we're going to have to flip the transmission over, pull the pan off, which I also got a new pan gasket to put on, and hopefully it doesn't pour fluid everywhere. I should move anything from here that might not want to get wet with fluid. I mean, I just drained it, so it should be relatively empty, but you know how that goes. You think it's empty until you flip it upside down, and then see, there's a whole bunch of oil coming out. Well, I shouldn't say a whole bunch, but there is definitely oil coming out. Ah, kind of stopped already. Ugh. This is pretty dirty, this pan here. This bench, oh, look at my bench. I think it has termites. I need to put a new top, and I should never have used, well, I should use metal. I'd like to put stainless, but it's expensive. So I used this kind of particle board, but it's crap. I mean, it's lasted a long time, but it's really starting to like break down, especially in this one spot. It's probably so soaked with oil. So, and I was just at Home Depot the other day. I'm just gonna buy a piece of like 1/2 inch thick plywood and put plywood on the top, at least for now. Okay. See if I can turn this all the way over like that. There's any oil, and then we'll take the pan off. And take the pan off. Oil pan, trans pan here is so greasy that the oil's got to be leaking from somewhere. Could just be the pan gasket for all I know. Is just super crappy. I don't know. But I mean, I had it apart when I put the gear set back in, and I didn't notice that it was horrible. Bottom of the pan on an automatic is always so dirty. All right, so I'm gonna get this pan gas. Oh, maybe it'll come off okay. I was gonna say maybe I'll have to clean it up, but it actually came off pretty good, so that's good. And then I gotta figure out what I gotta take off up here to get that shifter thingy out. All right, so I had to take this cover selector kind of guide off, and then you can see in there the gold looking thing. That's the shifter, so I just have to loosen off this little bolt right here, and then it should come out. Now, if you were putting an aftermarket shifter in a Powerglide, you'd have to do this too, because from the factory it has a totally different kind of arm. So I'm going to loosen that and pull that out. Okay, so that's loose. I think it just... Oh, that's the nut on the bottom. It just went flying, but I think it's just inside. I see it in there. Okay. Maybe I have to pry this open a little bit. It's been a long time since I've had this out of here. I'm pretty sure I put this in here. Yeah, I just have to work it out of there. There we go. And then there, that's when you buy the shifter, you would get this with it. Okay. I don't want to take that out of there. I need the magnet nut that I dropped inside there. I mean, it's not inside, it's just right there. Okay. Now we gotta turn this around, I guess, to get it to seal. There's the seal, and I mean, you can see it is dirty here, so the chances that this was leaking are probably pretty good. Okay, so we should be able to just pop this out of here. Boing! Just like that. Clean this up good. Get the brake clean. Give her a cleaning. It would definitely be nice to get an aftermarket case type transmission. They're pretty pricey though. Maybe one day. I don't know. Okay, so now I need a hammer. Just grab my light little body hammer here. Just like that. Now we'll put a little bit of the petroleum jelly on there, just so that we don't scar it up or anything on the install. And then I guess I need to turn it around again. I should have done this up on the engine stand like we did with Riley's transmission probably. But oh, it's okay. Okay, so now we gotta work this thing back in here. Something's missing here. There's a spring. There's a spring that holds tension on it, and it popped off, and I was like, there's got to be something missing. Which I can show you after I get it back on. Yeah, see there's a little spring right here, and that holds tension on this so that when you do that, and then it's good. Alright, so that's in. I'll get the nut back in and tighten all that up. So now the next thing we're going to do, I got the new pan gasket, and we're going to throw the pan on, and then will be the exciting part where we get to mount the oil vent thingamabob dealie that I made. I know, super exciting, right? To the 1,800 or so people watching, thanks for watching. And then I think that's it. I don't think there's any other gaskets on the outside that need to or that I'm going to change. So whatever gaskets and stuff are left over, I'll just save them in case I ever take the transmission apart and get this thing finished already, so I can get back to working on the GTO and stuff. And spring's coming. It's been really nice the last few days. I shouldn't say that because now we're going to get a blizzard probably in the next couple days after I just said that. But okay, so let's go get the thing and test fit it on there. Now hopefully the way I test fit it with the gasket, okay, so already it doesn't fit, which doesn't really make sense because I made up that little jig with the gasket and everything to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. Alright, well I'm going to have to get a flap wheel and I'm going to have to thin this out a little bit, see what happens. Alright, I take that back. It wasn't the jig's fault that I made, it was just that the cutouts in this oil pan are so tight that I had to just grind down the mounting tabs until they fit in there, and then it went right in. So there it is. So that's how it sits on there. I will flip the transmission over and then we can take a better look and also add the line. And then, like I said, the transmission's basically ready to go in. There you can see it. That's how it fits on there. And then the drain is right there. And of course the torque converter, you know, goes way up in there. There's tons of room. And then we got our fitting here to our fitting there. And that's it. And I did all the boost controller and all that on the Nova that I use black. So I actually found some. We got this from Airlift from when I did my air ride on my truck a long time ago. This sweet cutter. And then we're just going to put that like that. Run it to there. And there we go, that's it. Of course, I mean the transcooler lines will be on. Getting at them would maybe be a pain when they're not on, but I'm going to put them on and have the lines on the transmission when I stick it up in there. So there it is. There's the transmission overflow. So the petcock was like $6. These fittings I think were $4 each. So that's 4, 8, and 6. So that's 14. And then that's it. Oh, and then breather, that was another 4. So I mean, we're at about $20 plus the line which I had and the metal which I had. And I mean, if you bought a piece of square tubing and just welded the end shut, it would be even cheaper, or even easier to do, I should say, not cheaper. Save you a bunch of money considering these things are over $100 from the places that sell them. So I think that worked out pretty good. So I think that's all we're going to do tonight. And honestly, I think that's maybe all we're going to do for this video. Maybe the next video we'll be putting the transmission in and the exhaust on and stuff like that. Yeah, I think so. Alright guys, check you later.